capture or maybe do capture in near-death experiences where there's lights at the end of a tunnel and then suddenly there's the glory of God somehow. Those are pictures, but that sort of transitioning, I think, is even more complex. I guess I kind of see it as Jesus laid it out, that we close our eyes sometimes on a world of pain and a world of rejection, a world of need, and we open them the very next instant without going through tunnels necessarily. I don't object to people who have near-death experiences, but I don't think it's even that complex. I think we close our eyes in one world and we're in the next.
Mm-hmm. The twinkling of an eye.
There is no transitional dying thing, I think.
Paul said we see through a glass darkly.
Yeah, we did. That's exactly what the apostle said, and I really like that. One gets the feeling that when he says that, his next line is, and then face to face. You know, we shut out all of this horrible mist that we thought was earth and that was reality, and then we awake to new reality. I take a letter to C.S. Lewis in this book kind of seriously at this point, because I've always felt that when Lewis lost Joy and she died, he wrote A Grief Observed, and I wanted him to come across more victorious in that book than he did. Joy herself, by the way, came across, I think, as very victorious. But Lewis was crushed by her death and seems for the moment, and unfortunately is one of his last books, if not his last. And so he leaves us with kind of a bitter taste after all the beautiful things he said about Aslan and that land beyond the land and so forth. He wrote this one. So I'm trying to regain for a moment this idea that there's life instead of death. We just close our eyes in one world and we wake in the next.
Let me focus on that letter for a moment, because is that an example of a letter to someone whom you did not personally know, or did you know C.S. Lewis?
No, I did not know him. He died in 1963. In fact, he died the very same day that President Kennedy was assassinated. So his own death was eclipsed by the death of an American president, and I think people who had admired him and read him, as I had, much of his stuff by 1963, when he died, you know, it was just so eclipsed by the president's death that people didn't really notice. But there are in the book only about 3 or 4 letters by people, or 2 people I did not know. But most everybody in the book I did know and meet in one way or another. Norman Peale, for instance, Farrah Fawcett, Majors, her sister was a member of our church. And many of these notable people that I talk about, I did know.
So these are conversations of things that were left unsaid, that were incomplete in a way. Huh?
Yeah, I think so. I think they were incomplete. For instance, even in the case of Farrah Fawcett, I depend upon her last days or moments or interviews with the press, notably Barbara Walters, when she talked about her cancer and how she wanted to go into heaven full of faith, and having tried the experiences of pain, if her own pilgrimage through pain could mean something to someone else, it was a good way to leave the world. I like that about her, you know. There's just certain people in the book that were good friends, or at least I met once, that have been inspirational to me.
Including a man who died next to you on an airplane. Did you know his name?
You know, I never did. I don't think I ever did learn his name. To be quite honest, at the time when he was saying all this stuff, he sort of nettled me. It was a fearsome night. The storm was all about that little airplane. Scared the life out of me. I don't know how the pilot stood it. And there weren't very many people on it. It was a very small commuter plane. And when he actually died, I for almost instantly knew he had died. I wish later on I paid a little more attention to that. But at least I got the pilot's attention, and we got the plane on the ground, and an ambulance or maybe even a hearse met him there at the airport. I don't know. He was gone, though.
So in writing these letters to heaven, are you teaching us to have more of a sense of completion of our conversations on earth, or is there always going to be that divide?
Well, you know, if we knew when our friends were going to go, or our loved ones, we'd pay a little more attention to the moment and the sentiment. I guess everybody wants their, quote, famous last words to be critically important. A lot of times it's just pass the potatoes and that's it. You're gone. But if we knew that ahead of time, we'd pay a little more attention. So I think what I do in